So, for those of you that don't know, about 10 months ago, I announced I was returning to this channel. The original plan was just to do some gameplay videos. However, Headhunter, the Russian developer of Block Story, messaged me right away and said, "Hey, I want to recruit you and I want to work on Block Story with you." It's worth noting that Headhunter was not the original founder of the game. That belongs to Paul. Paul recruited Headhunter early on in the game's development. Paul left the project around 2018 or 2019 for some unknown reason, and Headhunter was the only guy left working on this game. This game was removed from Google Play and the App Store due to sanctions. Games that are published in Russia that make money cannot exist on their storefronts. Steam is a little bit less restrictive here, but I'll get to that in a bit. So what Headhunter proposed doing was giving me the game. He wanted me to start up a Google account and transfer me ownership, full ownership of the game, because that is the only way it would work. He promised me a share of every single sale that the game made. He didn't tell me the exact percentage, though. I would find that out later. From there, I agreed. I invested money into this project because I believed in it. And I don't know the exact amount I invested in it. Right now it's probably somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000. Most of it was invested in the beginning because I asked Headhunter, "Hey, do you want to turn this game into a business?" He said, "Sure," because I think it's going to be easier on our taxes. So I spent this last summer researching LLCs and turning the game into a business. However, it's worth noting I could not add Headhunter to the business. He had to be present here with me, so I signed off with the state that I am the sole owner of the business. After getting all of this ready and the business is ready to go, the Android version was ready to be revived. So he did the transfer to me. It was revealed to me that the percentage of how much I would be earning from each individual sale. Headhunter told me he needs 85% of each sale and can't negotiate any further than that. I tried, but I would just be receiving 15%. He would tell me things like, "Oh, the game back then used to make $30,000 a year, which 15% of that's plenty for you." And I just agreed with him. "Okay, let's see how much it makes. We'll just go from there." It's worth noting when this game was first being revived, the in-app purchases didn't work. The game was running on a very outdated version of Unity, and because of that, there were just many problems with it. It didn't even support the latest version of Android. And since that was the case, I was making less than $100 a month. It was hurting me super badly, but he once again told me once we get those in-app purchases going, I will really start to make money and profit off of this. In order to get these in-app purchases working, we had to finish the engine update, which involved getting the game from Unity 2016 all the way to the latest version. This took a bit longer than expected. That's game development. What can you expect? So while this was going on, I couldn't essentially work on the game. I was only able to do a handful of things that were outside of the game. Like I restored the presence of it on YouTube, Twitch, I added it to Kick, and the next thing I did was I started up a music team. I had 2 members come to me asking me if they could make music for the game because we had 2 tracks that were going to be replaced due to copyright issues. So I double checked with Headhunter. He agreed. So one of them got to work on the Aragog theme. After that theme was completed, I loved it, by the way. I presented it to Headhunter and he loved it too. And so afterwards, I was going to tell him we were going to work on the next boss theme. There's a total of 10 bosses in the game. And then Headhunter told me, "No, we can't do this. We can only do maybe about 3 or 4 themes." I asked him why. He said the reason why is because music takes up too much space. It's worth noting that this theme took up 2 megabytes. I told him this, and he said, "Well, some people struggle downloading stuff of that size." I honestly didn't know what to say. I just moved on and told Tropica, the next music guy, "Hey, we're going to have to make a generic theme that covers 3 bosses at least. So a few days went by. Tropico was working on that theme. Headhunter comes to me and says, hey, a friend of mine paid for a subscription to use AI music and create some. And I want to add 4 to 5 tracks into the game. It's also worth noting that these tracks took up even more space than the theme that Aragog had. And I tried to plead with him and say, hey, what are you doing? People are not going to like it. However, his only response was, nobody's going to know. And as it stands right now, most of those tracks are still in the game. Ashcore, Dragonlord, Swamp Golem, and Phoenix all currently have AI tracks in the game. Maddie also had one, but I quickly got rid of that one and replaced it with Vuria's really, really nice track. So I just tried to shake that off, keep my mouth shut, and I just moved on. The next thing that happened while we were working on the engine update was a content creator with around 40,000 subscribers decided to play the game and upload it to YouTube. And he's never heard of the game before, so it was a completely new player experience to him. And I wanted to watch it, and Headhunter did too. Headhunter was just happy that someone else was playing the game, as it gave the game recognition. So I watched it a little bit differently. I wanted to see a new player's perspective for the game. I wanted to see what a new player would try to do, what areas there might be problems, here and there. Maybe there's issues that need to be addressed to make it more new player friendly, or maybe there's just some game mechanics that need some tweaking. And sure enough, that content creator probably ran into 4 issues. One of them was he wasn't able to float on the water to get on top of surfaces. He also had issues with fall damage, and there were a few others, but I have the screenshots showing Headhunter, hey, I watched the video, I got some feedback for you. There were a few problems that he ran into that we need to address. He said, what problems? And so I listed them out. And when I listed them out, he immediately got frustrated with me. He said, okay, let's be clear about this. I want the game to be as perfect as I can, so every update we will need to fix everything we can. I could talk about this whole night, but I don't want to. I just responded with, well, I want this game to be perfect as well. And he just responded with, do you have a problem with how we develop the game? And from that point on, I stopped providing feedback. This is some of the lashing out I've been dealing with whenever I requested for something to be done, or if I wanted to tweak something. I was always concerned he would just randomly lash out on me. I don't understand why. It's just the way it was. I don't even need to include this, but I'm including it anyway. But not only was he doing stuff like this, he was also very unorganized with the direction he wanted to take the game. So I proposed a Maddie remodel art contest. And for those of you that don't know, almost everyone I know that plays the game thinks the model for this boss looks absolutely ridiculous, and it just needs some work. And it has stupid attacks. They're very dumb, and it's just a really bad boss. So I proposed a Maddie remodel art contest for Halloween. I proposed it to Headhunter. And I said, hey, let's have a contest and let's see what the community thinks that this boss should actually look like. And he gave me a thumbs up. A few days went by, and some of the submissions started coming in for the contest. And he tells me, hey, we can't actually redo this model. And I said, why? And he said, well, it's because so many people like the model. And to this day, I'm still looking for those people. I am. So now let's get into the more serious things. While all this was going on, I got to learn just what it was like working with him. An example was he loved to rant about politics a lot. And I hate to bring this stuff up, but it was absolutely ridiculous. He previously lived in Ukraine and he moved to Russia, and he could not stop talking about the conflict However, it was in a very extreme way. However, I can provide the screenshots here because he's denying all of this currently. He kept telling me, oh, I can't wait for Russia to win this war. US is going to help us do this. He kept shitting on Ukraine, and I just kept pushing it to the side. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's whatever. And this is just some of the stuff I've had to deal with him. And I really just did not want to hear it. Something else he liked talking about was he liked making fun of the original developer, Paul. So I don't really know how to talk about this, but basically around maybe 2019, after Paul started to leave, I guess he came out of the closet as gay. And Headhunter could not stop making fun of him behind his back in front of me. And this is how he's pretty much talked about Paul behind his back and behind everybody in the community, because I mean, the community respects Paul. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever talked to, and this just another thing that I just had to deal with over and over again with the politics stuff. And every once in a while he'll talk about how great the AI music is for the game, but it was just ridiculous. So as the months went by and we finally got the engine update out, I kept telling him, I'm bleeding money. I cannot keep this up. 15% of all Google Play purchases. This is just not enough for me. I can't live like this. And so he agreed to give me the Steam version. I thought it was because he was being generous, but it was actually because I guess he says that Steam over in his area takes out more taxes than it would be if it lived here. So he wanted to give me the extra 20% he was supposedly being taxed to me. So essentially, he was giving me the Steam version, and I was getting 20%, and he was getting 80%, which again, is not much at all. The Steam doesn't sell that many copies. It's a very small game, and I just had to keep cutting back on what I was doing if I really wanted to focus and work on this game full time, I just had to keep cutting back, and it's just what I had to do. And the thing that frustrated me the most while I was doing this, like I was practically living off of ramen noodles. He was sending me pictures, taking his family on trips and stuff like that, and just having a good time. And I was just, stuck here, just having to be cheap on food to save a couple of bucks. So while we were planning updates for the game, one of the big updates he wanted to do was an underground expansion, kind of like the space update. The problem is with this one, he wanted to do things a little bit differently. Whether you had the free version or paid version on mobile, he wanted to charge for it. So essentially, if you didn't buy it and you tried to go to this area, you'd be teleported back to the regular surface, keeping you out of it so you wouldn't receive that new content. I told him, no, this is a very bad idea. However, he just simply responded with, think like a developer, not like a user, and pretty much shut me down after that. I just didn't want to deal with any more lashing out. I was just tired of it, and I just had to keep my mouth shut like usual. I couldn't do anything, and I just had to move on and hope that things get better. Or maybe his plans change. I don't know. So I continued working on this game with him. Started adding in systems, starting to get the hang of things, and we were really working as a team. However, I was still bleeding money like crazy. It was getting to the point where if I went another month like this, I was going to go into debt. And at the same time, tax season was coming up, and I never filed taxes for an LLC before. So I visited with a bunch of tax experts and an attorney, and they told me that I might actually be doing something illegal. So the way we sent out money was through wire transfers, and Headhunter had this bank in Georgia that I would send it to. However, what I didn't fully know was that after I sent that money to his Georgian bank, he would take it out and transfer it to a Russian bank in order to avoid the sanctions. And this is something that's illegal. It's violating federal law, and I immediately panicked. And basically, I was told by the attorney, you have to stop. So this left me with two options. Give the game back to him, which will shut down the mobile version of the game. And I won't ever support this project again because of how awful he was treating the community and the music team, replacing all their music with AI. Or I had option B. Keep the game, keep it running, and cut out Headhunter from the project. After everything he did for me, I chose to think like a developer and take it. I have full legal ownership despite what he's trying to say. He immediately tried to get a hold of all the community members in the Discord and VK, which, if you don't know what VK is, it's basically a Russian version of Facebook, and said, I do not have the legal right to do this. And the excuse he used for this was that it's because I claimed that since I own the trademark for the game, I own the game, which I've never said before. However, if he does want proof that I legally own it, here is him giving me the rights to the Google Play version. And here is me receiving the Steam version. He signed off and gave me both versions. And now they are tied to the company. And here is the legal document that shows I own 100% of the company. His claim that I don't legally own the game is false. I researched to see if any of the code was copywritten, and it was not. So I took the game to keep it running for the community after I was treated like garbage. So Headhunter decided to do something about it. And what did he do? Well, the one thing I didn't own was the game's official website. And he decided to modify and change the front page of that website and leak all of my personal information on the front of it. My full name and address were visible to anyone that visited that site. And it's also worth noting, right above where those government documents are, he typed out the trademark situation. It says, I, as in me, paid for the Block Story trademark at my request, but he did not include me in it, even though I clearly stated that all expenses would be covered from my share, and I have proof of this in our correspondence. The attachment images show the old and new trademark data. The new one is on the left, and the old one is on the right, for those of you that don't know. Headhunter says that I hid this information from all of you because it contains my real name and address, even though the trademark ownership information is publicly accessible to anyone. Paul, unlike him, had no problem adding me as a partner. And then he says, important, purchasing a trademark does not make him the owner of the application. And again, obviously, I've never said that owning a trademark means I automatically own the application. That's stupid. However, he's bringing up that Paul added him. So if you actually look at the two trademarks, the one on the right is actually also leaking Paul's information, which, what the hell did Paul do? But anyways, the one on the left has only one piece of information blacked out in the middle bottom. The one on the right has two, so it's showing both Paul and Headhunter. And then obviously the one on the left is just me. So he is claiming that I intentionally didn't add him to the trademark. However, I once again have the receipts for this, and I have the screenshots of when we did this together. As you can see here, I tried to add him. However, I got an error on the government website saying I needed an attorney for international people. Or maybe it's just Russia because of the sanctions. I don't know. But it basically said I need an attorney. And I asked Headhunter, did Paul do the same thing? And he said, I don't think so. So I went through and did the process, finished it. He said, good job. And then I said, in quotes, hope you don't mind not having your name on it because of the attorney thing. I guess it doesn't really matter. And then he responded with, don't worry, man. So what's going on there? Something else he did when he was busy lashing out, just trying to get people's attention in the Discord server, was he started trying to negotiate with people. It was really weird. He basically said, if I can work on the game again, I will give you all the features you've always wanted for multiplayer. Now, that is very interesting that you're now saying you're planning on doing multiplayer. The reason why I bring that up is because, for one, this is actually how he wanted to do multiplayer. And after it's implemented, this is how he wanted to handle it. So, you tell me, is this how you want your multiplayer experience to be? So he continued to have his fun. Over on VK, he decided to make a post with my real name again, and he even laughed about it in parentheses, and he was saying, I haven't made that many commits to the game. I haven't done any work. Apparently, I don't know what the whole magic storyteller thing, I don't know what he's saying. His English is so busted. But after that happened, he then went into the Discord, which is where I was and many other people were at the time, and I wasn't at the time aware of the website changes that he did. And so he made a post over on VK, which has now been deleted, by the way, but I saved it. And he says, let's force the main page of the game site as much as possible in their shit-stained garbage. I was banned in half a second when the truth began to hurt my eyes. And yes, he posted a link to the game's website in the Discord. I clicked on it, saw what was happening, and immediately banned him because he was doxing me. And he called us creatures in this post. I don't know. This is Google Translate, by the way, so take it with a grain of salt, but that is a very interesting complaint. He's basically saying, we'll take a long time to update the game. So you're saying I can't update the game, so I do own it, right? But yeah, he called us extremely stupid, and he says, I hope the maximum number of players will have time to read all this. So he's basically hoping that he's just hoping that tons of people can read and see my personal information. And ever since this has happened, I've been worried sick. I've never been doxxed before, so this is a first for me. I've been worried sick. My girlfriend's been worried sick. I haven't been sleeping much at all since this happened. And then he made one final post, which I think has been deleted, but I have it saved. And he said, wrote everything as is on the main page on the site. Let them decide for themselves what side they're on. So after he did all this, after I've shown you screenshots and what he's done, he wants you to know what side you're on. And I guess I'll leave that up to you to decide, okay? This stuff has been this stuff was on the site for a couple hours. Luckily, Tropiga, one of our music members, sent out an email to the support email, and he was pretending to be a new player and basically was just pretending he had no idea what was going on and why there was somebody's information there, and basically said it's illegal. What is it doing there? And that actually scared Headhunter enough for him to remove it. And he did. So the site is at the moment back to what it should be. So it's been a day since that happened. And it's worth noting his VK group, it's not as big as the Discord. At least it's not as active as the Discord. It supposedly has between 10 and 11,000 people. However, that post he made trying to get people's attention. I only got probably less than 100 reactions. However, when he did start doing all this, I've just been starting to get harassment from people saying I stole the game. I'm going to shut the game down, which is very weird to say because I'm the one keeping it up. And then some are saying I did it for the money. It wasn't about the money. And I guess anyone could say that, really. I invested a lot into it. I care about this game a lot. And now, as of today, Headhunter is advocating for harassment towards me. Svetlana, who is a very close friend of Headhunter, who made a lot of the structures in the game, made a YouTube video with, once again, leaking private information about me in the video and saying that I stole it and I don't have the legal right to. And as you've seen, I legally own everything. I went to some professionals about it, and I think he knows that he doesn't own it. And so the only thing he can do is scream and let everyone know what he's actually been like to me for the past 10 years. It's been a lot these past 2 or 3 days. The doxing, the manipulation. When I was cutting him off, he told me that he had no money left. However, just a week ago, he told me he had $50,000 saved in credit cards. And I've known him for a decade. Around a decade, I think. However, he was never like this to me until I started working on the game. I talked to the admins in the Discord. I talked to the music guys. I told them, hey, I just feel like walking away. But every single one of them told me I should stick around and they'll support me. And I made a post on Discord, and I also did the same on YouTube. Right when he doxed me, I panicked and didn't know what to do. So I made that post on YouTube and Discord showing everything, or explaining everything he did without any evidence. And it's not like me to do something like that. I don't want to look like I'm some streamer making a bunch of false accusations or something. I'm just here to work on a game, to play a game, to make it better for all you, just to have a good time. That's all I'm here for. And it's a shame I had. It's a shame I had to do this. I mean, I felt like I had no other choice. And still, like, even to this day, I'm still a little unsure. Like, I'd hate to give the game back at this point. He's leaked all my personal information. And anyone can find who I am, where I am, and now his minions are still defending him and doing the same thing. Svetlana actually leaked my Facebook on VK, and I can't even get that taken down because I don't know how VK works. And then all these members are still fine with it, and some of them are reporting my channel as I speak, and some of them are leaving nasty comments saying I have done no work for the game. And at this point, I've shown everything that's been going on. I went through every single point that Headhunter has done to me. And all those things I said yesterday, or whenever you're watching it, when I made that post accusing him of all these things, I've gone through and shown proof of every single one. And at this point, I don't need to do this, but right now, the last rumor that's going around that they're spreading is that apparently I don't know how to develop the game. I don't need to do this, but here, check this out. I think that speaks for itself. I didn't even really have a script for this. I had notes just to make sure I nailed every single point. I didn't even write an outro. I wasn't sure how to end this, but right now in this situation, I own the game. Headhunter doesn't own anything except for the game's website, which, by the way, do not make an account on that website because the admins can see your IP address right below your username. I reported this to Headhunter and he did nothing about it. So if you want to give your IP address to this guy, be my guest. But that's besides the point. Going forward, if I do stick with this game, I plan on hiring some people. I plan on doing things that Headhunter has always said no to, like mod support. I really want to open this game to the community, and he has told me over and over again not to. Like, oh, I didn't even go over this. He told me not to stream Hightail because he was worried about me scaring away potential players. As if I could prevent the hype that was Hightail. I can't shield everyone from that. But no, I didn't write an outro for this video. This is what's been going on for the past week. And I shouldn't even say the past week. This is how he's treated me for the past 10 months. And it's left me with two options. I can give the game back to him. The mobile version will cease to exist. The Steam version will still exist because he found some shady ways to do it. He's running it out of some Georgian address and collecting the money and transferring it over to Russia, which isn't really legal, I don't think. I don't know. But, or I can keep the game. All the teams will stay. The music team will stay. The translation team will stay. The wiki team will obviously stay, and the community will stay. I think if I give the game away, it's just gonna die. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't. Because before I was recruited and there was no mobile version, there was the Steam version, but there was no updates coming in. And that's another thing. Something else they're spreading around is that they're getting the Apple version back. However, here is an email saying that I'm about to receive it. So I don't know exactly what these people are trying to say right now. And besides, they don't own, none of them own Macs. I'm the only one with a Mac, and you need a Mac in order to develop the iOS version. So I'm literally in the process right now. I'm about to receive it, and that version's going to go live as long as I stick with it. But I think that's everything. I think I've covered everything. I'm not a drama YouTuber. I'm not someone that covers drama, and I hope I never have to do this again. But this is everything that's been going on. And let me know what you think. I don't know. What do you think I should do? Should I hold on to the game? Should I give it up and shut it down and just never support the project again? And just move on to something else, maybe make something new with the community? It's like the music team, for example, said they are only going to follow me. If I go, they follow me. They will not support this project. But I've rambled on, I think, enough. That's everything I wanted to say. Currently, they're still harassing me in VK, and there's nothing I can do about it. They're still doxing me. All my personal information is out there for you to see. So, yeah, that's about all I have for you guys. I'll probably provide an update soon. For now, I'm just gonna continue working on the game, and we'll see where we go from there.